Yeah.
So,
Philip,
put your hand out here because I don't want
martial artist. Low damage and all.
Okay, well, we've gone through everything. So first I'm going to introduce Sean, our timer. And he's going to...
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Sean, and he's going to introduce his job.
Yeah. My job is as a timer. You have a speech to do. The first speech is total 7 minutes, but you have 5 minutes to speech, which shows the green cards. After you did a speech, you have to somehow start to gather up all your thought, which is going to be 6 minutes, I believe, yeah. And then conclusion has to be 7 minutes. Like by 7 minutes, you have to close your speech. That time is finished. If you go longer, usually somebody ring the bell or tells you. Yeah, that's for that. For evaluation is like 2 minutes, which is a green card again. For yellow card, you get 2.5 minutes, same stuff you go on. And for conclusion in the evaluation is going to be red card, 3 minutes total. Same as table topic. Table topic is going to be 1 minute, which is a green one. Yellow is going to be 1.5 minutes, and red one is going to be 2 minutes for table topics. That's my job. It is to time you and let you know your time is up. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Scott.
Thanks,
That
Sean.
was my
Appreciate
job.
it.
Thank you.
Now I will call up Mr. Andrew Shaw, who is going to explain his duties of being an odd counter.
And grammarian.
And grammarian. Thank you very much.
Well, welcome Toastmasters. Honored, no honored guests. Everybody's a Toastmaster.
We're all honored.
Yeah, we're all honored. So my role today is as odd counter and grammarian will be to mainly focus on impressive words or phrases, memorable words and phrases that you guys use during your speeches. So whether it's common use, commonly used phrases or turns of phrase or metaphors, similes like that. Which is metaphor is you take something, say that car was rushing at me like a bull. That's a metaphor of something that easily relatable, right? Yeah. Simile would be to say something is similar to smells like a flower. I would say Scott does not smell like a flower. No. Lloyd, when he came in, smelled like a flower. And something like that. So I'll keep track of that, and Oz and Ums and all the rest. And today's word of the day is vicious.
Vicious.
Yes.
Yeah.
Vicious.
Vicious.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Andrew. And now we will call our first speaker. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you. Let's give him a good round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Fellow Toastmaster, tonight my prepared speech, which I just found out last night, let me stress, so I didn't really have much chance to prepare, but then I do want to make it interesting, so I kind of want to talk about the continuation of our leadership discussion for the last 2 months, and leadership is a big topic, so I think with our group here, we have those handbooks, right? One is about communication, the other one is about leadership. So I think the Toastmaster program naturally is having at least 50% of the focus is to bring up the leadership within us. So I think it's no harm to continue the same topics. So today, my interesting topic that I would like to share with you is about should leaders have a final say about their own legacy? What I mean is, recently, if you follow some Asian news, There's a great leader passed away just 2 years ago. He was the founder of Singapore, and his name is Lee Kuan Yew. Being a founding father of such a small city, which make international impact in both economics, in both political events, in both their well-being of their citizens is so high level. So a lot of countries, including China, actually they role model after Singapore. So that's why I find it could be informative to the audience here that we should understand a bit more about Lee Kuan Yew and whether he, being a leader, should have a say about his own legacy. Many years ago, when China was still a very closed communist system, the economy was really bad, people are so poor, the ideology within the country seems to be great communism, you know, the ideal, right? Everyone share with each other about everything, but obviously it failed, big time. When Mao Zedong passed the ball to the next guy called Deng Xiaoping picked it up. You know what? Ideology is good, but no food in the tummy. Everyone is starving. So what do I do? So then he looked around the world. Who should we role model after? Very soon they discovered that the Western democracy doesn't fit well with the China communism, so not the Western world. Then they look around. Hey, how about Southeast Asia? There's a little country called Singapore. You know what? Small country and become so powerful in the world. What is happening? And the more they read it, the more they see, hey, you know what? Lee Kuan Yew is actually a dictator too. I mean, in a sense, he's a dictator. But everyone loves him and think that he offered democracy for the citizen. So this paramount leader of China, you know, of 1.2 billion people, go and visit this 2 million people country and basically humble himself down and say, hey, Lee Kuan Yew, how did you do that? And Lee Kuan Yew was being very humble. He said, you know what, I'm just a descendant of some poor farmer from southern China that moved to Singapore 4 generations ago. So my ability, nothing compared to your team of ministers, which are the top educators, scientists from 1.2 billion people that work for you in Beijing. So in terms of brain power, you're really good already. So if you ask me for advice, I'm being very humble. That me, Lee Kuan Yew, I don't know how to run your big country. My country is much smaller. However, since you asked me, I'll share with you. First thing is, do not export communism. If you try to export Chinese communism to Hong Kong, Macau, and everywhere like Singapore, that would be very bad. Because ideology is not food. It doesn't fill your tummy. And in fact, people are going to hate you for that. So why don't you think the other way? Do not export communism to the rest of the world, like Russia at that time trying to do. Contain your so-called communism ideal within your country, not promote it. And at the same time, open your market economy. You know, invite investment in. You know, let people that know how to really build the economy, build it for you. Because you guys are communists. Like, you really don't know how to run it properly. So Deng Xiaoping was really, you know, eye-opening. And kind of agree with him. But then on the other hand, ask, but how come people feel that when I'm doing stuff, people feel that I'm dictator? But when you are doing it in Singapore, you don't allow people to eat gums, you don't allow people to do this and that, and people don't think that you're a dictator. How come? So now we go back to the legacy of the leader. Lee Kuan Yew, I don't know whether most of you know about his training. He was a descendant, 4th generation Chinese descendant from southern China. But he was actually a very well-educated scholar in law from Oxford and Cambridge, you know, that type of school in London, UK. So very educated scholar, understand all the British Parliament system and stuff like that, and later on become a Royal scholar. And he married his wife, also a top student in law. So the two lawyers married, and then they went back to Singapore, and then trying to rebuild Singapore under the British, democratic ideal. But I think part of their legacy is, while they're building Singapore like a very democratic state as a leader, they feel that, pure democracy doesn't work, because Singapore was too weak. If you let everyone decide on the fate of Singapore, it doesn't work. So he decided to be a little bit more a dictator type. He said, I'm more educated, so I'm going to make some decision. So now the currency should be, print the money this way. Now the road should be built this way. Now the apartments should be built this way, and so forth. And after less than 2 decades, Singapore becomes so powerful in the economic world that they became, one of the leaders, of that region. And then another decade, even US noticed that little country called Singapore. Wow, what is going on? How come a country with less than 2.5 million people, how come they can develop such a economic impact in the society? So all this become history. So everyone knows that Lee Kuan Yew, founding father of Singapore and everything. But shortly before he died 2 years ago, he insists and tell his family member on his will, you know what, when I die, do not make my residence become a museum, because I don't want people to idolize me. I don't want people to think that I'm the god for Singapore. I'm not. I'm just someone who have a good education, and I love Singapore. I love Singaporean, and I do and dedicate my whole life there. But when I die, do not make my residence become a museum. So my original topic is, does the leader have a say about his own legacy? What do you think? Because what happened is, 2 years later, his oldest son, the current Prime Minister of Singapore, would like to, contrary of his view, with a whole bunch of ministers, and arguing that Lee Kuan Yew, yes, as a person, he can have a will to say this and that, but he's also a public figure, and his legacy carry a lot of weight. That is going to inspire the next generation of Singapore leaders. So how can we just make his residence, become a normal residence and just forget about his life, his history, and his legacy? We cannot allow that. So his eldest son, the current Prime Minister, Lee Hsien Loong, together with a lot of current ministers, argued that yes, even though before he died, he wrote a will that do not do that, but because of his public position, we still have to deny his right for that. We're going to make his residence become a museum, so that people, one day, many years later, can still study and learn about his legacy. So now, I will leave the remaining question with you. What do you think? Is that correct or not correct? Because the daughter, the only daughter, now is suing the older brother, and this case is now in the court, Supreme Court of Singapore now, because the daughter, which is the younger sister of the current Prime Minister, saying that Dad said is not allowed to make his residence becomes a museum, and you still purposely violate his wish. You are not a good son. But then the son said, no, Dad is not a regular dad. He is a public figure. He carries a lot of weight. We cannot just think about our family following his will. We have to think about the public. So I'm going to make his residence a museum. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Don't worry about the evaluations. Just skip over the evaluations.
Yeah, I enjoyed that when you put me in.
Next,
Yeah.
next prepare speech will be done by Fred. Let's give Fred a warm welcome.
Yay!
Did you make the 7 minutes?
You want some?
Did you make the
Yeah,
you made
I'll
the
time you it.
I didn't pay attention.
I'm not gonna time it, you set up your stuff.
You get a little.
No problem. This was not-
But you're not allowed to use the table, sir.
Too bad.
It's always good to
Okay,
absorb.
well,
For leadership, it's always good to absorb.
all this stuff is
That's
That's
what
right.
stuff with you. Country, you did the right choice.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Lee Kuan Yew is great.
I got too much stuff.
Because the world is changing, eh? As you go further out, every few decades, they change the mentality, change people need to do few things, they do business differently. So you gotta work as a unity together as a world.
That's right.
Sorry, I forgot to organize it.
No worries, no worries.
No worries. Yeah, take your time.
I forgot to like separate it properly. So I gotta go through it all. That goes together, that goes together.
But while Fred is organizing, what do you think? Do you think that Lee Kuan Yew's wish should be granted or
I don't think
the other way?
Someone else can do the legacy,
Well-
and I think if that's what he wanted.
Yeah, that's in his will, actually.
That, if it's in his will, and that's what he wanted, that should be honored for such a great man.
Yeah, that's right.
Museums can be put up anywhere.
We die,
Yeah.
and then people forget about us.
Because it's not his legacy that will keep running the country, but it's his way of running things is what they should be following.
Fred, you ready?
He's gonna do stretches.
That's killed me. I'm not sure why.
Hey,
Yeah.
you've got the shirt on, graphic designer.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
You didn't plan that?
Nope. Alright, so fellow Toastmasters and friends and, well, like Andy says, and there's no fellow guests, so we're all guests, I guess. Hey, it rhymes. Today I am going to speak to you about my 1 year of school up to now. It's pretty much a little bit of what the process is about becoming a graphic designer and what it can pretty much lead to. And I haven't prepared any of this, so I'm going to really wing it, and I'm going to try my best to do good. So, starting with some of this information and some of these kind of pieces of work that I've done, I've actually got to start off in pretty much my first quarter was literally nothing but art class. So they were really teaching you, basically, because what it is they take you in, they expect you to know nothing, like zero at all about design or anything at all. So they literally sit there and teach you how to draw. So they'll teach you how to do these kind of things, and they're going to work on all the aspects about drawing and how to do it properly and stuff like that. I don't remember the technical words, so I'm not going to bore you guys with that.
Symmetrics and other things.
Yeah, there's a lot of different facts about drawing, which is very complicated and very difficult to do.
Very nice.
They also teach you about color theory, and this is actually a color swatch kind of balance piece of work that I had to do, and it shows you what pretty much mixing paints and what causes, and pretty much what kind of sloppy mess you can make if you actually don't do it properly. So that's pretty much that, and then also that involves doing this, this is actually one of my final projects for the first quarter. It's actually a 3D color wheel that I actually had to create, and there was an extra bonus point for making an object that moved. So I decided to make it a spinning orb. So the teacher was actually pretty impressed, and she gave me 100% on this. Because I was the only one that actually succeeded at making an object move properly. So that kind of involves the construction kind of aspect and all that, and from what I remember doing from shop class and stuff like that in high school, that's how I managed to create this and make this. There's literally no glue except where, actually let me get it down. The only place there's glue in this project is right here and the base. That is it. There's no other glue. Everything else is all slotted together, and it's all, pressure fit.
Very good.
So I use my construction knowledge to make that.
Out of wood?
No, it's actually foam core. It's styrofoam where it has 2 layers of cardboard on the outsides.
Yeah.
And what I've done is I sandwich multiple layers together, and I use drywall putty to kind of hide the seams. So as you can see, it's actually really lightweight.
Cool. A little genius.
My original little project, I also wanted to add a little spinning motor to make this spin by itself, but it would have been too much work.
Very nice. And the coloring is great. So once it starts spinning, all the color mix and match.
Yeah, this is, all the colors are actually all the colors of the color wheel. So they show like this, the primary colors, which is the
Yeah.
wheel, the secondary colors, which is the base, and the tertiary colors, which is these.
Yeah, very, very good. Well organized that way.
And this kind of brings me on to some other little pieces of work that I've done. This was a texture project that I had to do. It was actually to teach how you can use textures and stuff like that and to make into your pieces. Which this was actually just slapped together. Didn't turn out the greatest. This was another drawing assignment that I had to do. I can't recall what it was. I think it was some kind of a 3D kind of, I don't remember the assignment. But this is another little drawing that I had done. This was another texture project that we've had to do. So this was a self-portrait that we had to use. And it doesn't look the greatest, but I actually got 100% on the concept.
Because I was gonna ask, who is that?
So if you actually you can feel the foil, it's got bumps, it's got
Yeah.
texture to it.
Looks cool.
I used painting process and then, you
Yeah.
know, like the gritty beard and stuff like that, it's got grit to it.
And lots of different materials.
Yeah, exactly, that was the whole purpose of the assignment. So yeah, these kind of fundamental, kind of courses. So they're there to teach you what the whole process and design concept is about. So this was another later on project assignment that I had to do. I had to use kind of different repetitive shapes and stuff like that to create a CD label. So this is what I created, and I used a Christianity kind of theme to work on, and it turned out to be like that. This is a logo, the first logo that I ever designed. Well, actually, this was the first logo that I ever designed at school, which was pretty much very easy to make for me, because having 7 years experience, I can come up with logos and no problem. This is my second version. This was actually just the final project that I submitted, and this is the first version of it, so it came out totally different. But it's still the same theme, same basic idea. This is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's very good.
Oops, sorry. Okay, this one, the reason why there's an attached part of it is because the fact that, well, you can see the printout didn't turn out. So this is the final version. This was the beginning version. So this pretty much is what they started off at, looking like this, and then ended up like this, but with the proper colors, obviously. This was another one of my final, I think this was my fundamental design, final poster that I had to do for my final grade, which was actually just to come up with a theme and a balance, and to make it, to use the negative space property and the proportion, everything, the way it's supposed to be. And it was very this one was fun to do. I really enjoyed that. And then I'm gonna pretty much move into some more, I'm gonna start jumping in through the rest of my quarters. I'm not gonna go specifying which one they're all about. But these are some of the pieces of work that I've gotten to do. This is part of my Photoshop 2 class, which was advanced Photoshop. So they're teaching you how to, Photoshop classes are basically teaching you the tools on how to use Photoshop properly. A lot of effects were put into this project. If you actually look in all the way down to the bottom.
Sorry, can you pull it up? I can see it.
Sorry.
Yeah.
If you actually go into the background and all that, those are all different layers and different pieces that I've stitched in together to make one image. And then at the end I added the foreground character, which actually kind of.
So it's more 3D, more 3D.
Yeah, you can actually see there's a lot of details in
That's
this
right.
one,
That's right.
which actually
Slates
small.
standing on top of each other.
Yeah,
So it's
exactly.
creating
Like I layer it. I have like
Layer.
over 80 something layers in this image.
Yeah, creating the 3D dynamics. Yeah. Very good.
This is a project that I've done for, actually through UGM. It was just me trying to give back, helping a friend out to make his family kind of fishing trip. And Sean remembers that. We spent the whole weekend,
Fishing
this was
derby.
for Jonas.
Oh,
We spent the whole weekend putting these together. And
what
making
is that?
Well, actually fishing
Oh,
over
the
the
big white
fishing
square
lures.
thing.
Huh?
In front of you
That's
guys.
the table. That's the table,
Oh,
all the
yeah.
fishing,
Hooks, the
I
hooks
can't
also.
tell from the.
Oh, yeah.
You just summarized the events. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see, okay.
This was actually part of my, this was this quarter actually. I really enjoyed this one. It was actually part of my my concept of design project. We started off with an object. At the beginning, the first day of class, we had to choose an object. I chose my object and then came to class the next time. I had paperclip. Just to realize that somebody else beat me to it. So what did I have in hand? A cigarette. So because I'm a smoker, I pull out a cigarette and here's my object. I got stuck with that object the whole semester. Literally. I had to base all my project based on smoking and cigarettes. So it ended up putting me to the point where I'm like really desperate to quit smoking now because I got to see it all already.
Yeah. That's a good side benefit though. You
Yeah,
get
so
quit
I-
smoking because
yeah.
of that.
I got 95% on this one. This is actually a fresh magnet that I got to make. I know I'm late, but I'm gonna run out of time.
Yeah,
no worries.
I'm just gonna keep showing.
Yeah.
This is actually a drawing that I've done in, another drawing that I've done in my drawing class. No. That I've done in my drawing class. This was actually a recreation of a famous artist that I had to do.
Oh,
So I redrew by hand an actual painting that somebody's done. That was actually a very fun one. I enjoyed that.
yeah.
This was my
Good.
first Photoshop class. I made I made an actual magazine cover. Front face of a magazine. And that was, I got a really good grade on
The
that.
next time I remember.
You remember this one?
This
We
is
all
a
do
club.
it.
Yeah.
This was another pro bono project that I've done for,
Oh, you made that?
yeah, I'm the one that made it.
Oh,
Pro bono work.
There's $100 word right there.
Yeah. Yes.
It's a very vicious word. Till now. This is some other little sketches and stuff that I kind of put in together because I used it for a piece. This is obviously, I wonder whose hand this is, but this is just me playing on my Surface Book, showing it off and kind of working on it. And this is my final project for Photoshop 2, which was my advanced Photoshop. And this one was very interesting because I actually got to make a hologram for the first time. So, you know, instead of taking the easy way out, I'm always the one to be pushing myself and kind of pushing the limits on things. So the teachers kind of like that because they know I already got a little bit of experience, so I'll push myself to do better, to do more. This was actually my first Illustrator project that I've done.
nice. I like that.
I had to recreate from an original image. And that was, I mean, you know, we all know what that is. This was a typography kind of poster that I've done. It was actually this is like version D of, so there's many different versions before this one because the teacher was very picky and she didn't like any of it. Until this one actually. And this is also another one that I've kind of learning how to do and how to use existing advertising and stuff like that, and to learn why they actually use specific features. So this is my version of sort of the studio
Yeah.
advertising.
Very good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's good.
Very good.
Oh, we all saw it, but this was actually another one of my projects, which was the trophy.
After you quit smoking, right, with that project, and then you
Actually,
do this.
yeah, I was actually in the midst of quitting smoking.
Very good.
Nice.
Very good.
I know I didn't do that much information, but
No, it's good, it's good.
it's a lot of, it was a lot of content.
Not only the journey of your, Photoshop learning experience, and your journey of accidental quitting smoking. That's amazing.
Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger picture looked like an Andy Warhol type.
Yeah, that's nice.
Did things like-
You're very talented.
I find it kind of reminds me of Grand Theft Auto style.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that
one
kind
of
of
my favorite
kind of
games.
animation. That kind of animation.
Love that game. Have you had the luxury of playing it, Andrew?
Yep.
Well, I really want to give you a round of applause. That was a lot of work done in there, from beautiful presentation.
That's only 1 year.
And
I got 4 years to do.
You're doing all right.
4 years to go? Holy shit, I'm not pursuing what you're doing.
no, he's on his way. And now,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Lloyd,
Okay, I'll do it. I totally understand. I wasn't sure that I was going to be here tonight, but it got put on me to do a prepared speech. And by the way, my name is probably down on the paper, so I'm kind of locked in. So yeah, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, my speech tonight that I decided to do is on value. And what I'm going to speak on is just things, basically things that you should value, or things that you should value in yourself. Like for myself, things that I value in myself is that I've been clean and sober for 1.5 years. And I really value that time that I have under my belt, that I've worked on myself, building my character and my integrity, being a person of recovery, a man of God, a role model in sobriety. And I really value that. There's a lot of value in that, because when people see you and they see you as a man of integrity, it gives them value, a sense of value, because they say, hey, I want what that man has. Right? So they tend to follow your way, your role modeling, right? And I really value that when somebody sees me and they say, hey, Lloyd, I really respect who you are with that, and the work that you put into who you are and the recovery that you have in that, and I value that. But I also value the people that come into recovery and have the guts to come in there and give their will over and say and admit, I'm powerless. I don't know what to do, right? And I really, really value that in people when they have the guts to stand up and finally say, I don't have the gut. I mean, I need help, right? And there's a lot of value in that, because there's nowhere to go but up. When you're already at the bottom, there's nowhere to go but up, right? So, being a man of value, integrity, I also value humility. The way we humble ourselves when we come into recovery and we realize that we need something more powerful than us. And we realize that we need God. So, when we realize that we need God, there's a lot of value in that, because we can't do it without God. And there is so much value in having a relationship with God in sobriety, because He gives you strength. When you don't have enough strength yourself to keep going, right? And through a relationship with Him, on days when it's getting really hard, and He knows what you want, what you need, and He'll fill you with His joy. He'll put people in your way, somebody that'll come along that'll have a kind, generous word, that'll put a smile on your face, or He works through people, right? I really value that. I really value how God works that way in our world of recovery, and puts smile on people's faces. When I'm walking down the road and I'm having a bad day, and I come around this corner, and there's this little girl on a bicycle, only about this tall, and she looks up and she goes with this big smile and blue eyes and says, hi, and it puts such a big smile on my face and fills me with joy, and I say, you know what? That was a blessing. I totally value those. It's those little things that happen in life that I really value. How about you? What do you value?
I value when people believe in you. When they put their trust in you.
Me too. I really value that. How about you, Ben? What do you value?
I value different type of encounters, like this particular one.
Yeah.
And we come from all different country or maybe even background and stuff like that. But we have this opportunity to share. Earlier I heard actually our friend here, Scott, actually know a very interesting person, is currently in town, and you always learn about something very interesting from new friends, and you bond with them because they are willing to share some of their past experience, and like yourself, you share some of your heartfelt experience, and which touches everyone here. And like Fred share all his work, and like this gentleman here, he just have a surgery, not long ago, and then he shared with us. And these are, bring people closer, kind of like family that way.
Yeah, now that you mention it, me too. I really value the friendship that we built together. Having our session of Toastmasters here, having speeches here, standing out in front of each other, building our confidence, our self-esteem, and hearing the different types of speeches that we put up, like the speeches that our good friend Ben here puts together, and his Asian accent when he speaks and all that. And I really feel that he's really is making a good speaker. I really value that as becoming an experienced Toastmaster speaker. I see that. Fred, what do you value?
Right now, I don't know. I always gonna value families and friends. It's always a big thing for me in my life. It's always very important for me to have like people around me, people to talk to, and things like that.
Yeah.
People to be able to validate and be validated from is very important.
Sean, I really value my friendship with you too, so I don't want to jump past you. What do you value?
I value respect and understanding.
Me too, very much so, Miss.
Respect and
Very much.
understanding.
Andrew, what do you value?
I used to value challenges a lot. Being challenged, being intellectually challenged, to go beyond what I know. But now I'm valuing how little I know. How little I actually really know things, rather than trying to be the smart ass that I used to be.
I really value the fact that I've come to this point in life where I've been humbled, where I thought I was slow and dumb and all this life. I was forced to go see psychiatrists, psychologists, all these things and that. And they always said that there's something wrong with him, but we don't know what it is. Right? And then I come in one day, I meet God, He brings me into recovery, and I find myself working with all these counselors and everything all this time, and I realized that all I needed to know was the truth about who I really am and find myself inside. And I found that by coming to Toastmasters, by going to Bible college, by reading the Bible, finding out my true self, who I am. I'm not that person that tried being this tough guy, hanging out with the wrong crowd all my life and that, right? I did a good job. I put on a good facade. I really did. I mean, nobody knew the difference, but I'm not that guy. I'm really very kind-hearted, generous guy. I had 25 years of martial arts, and if you make me angry, I can't hit you. I can't hurt a fly. I can defend myself. If you start a fight with me, then I will defend myself. I can use it to defend my friends when evil descends on my friends, but otherwise, no. So I really value finding that person inside of me. And I really want to help people to be able to find the person inside of them. And that is what I value the most. Thank you, fellow
Thank you, Lloyd. Thank you for that.
You're welcome, guys.
Thank all three of you guys for the wonderful speeches. Now we are moving on to table topics. Round robin style theme is summer holidays.
So you pick somebody and ask them the first question.
Lloyd, no, we'll give you a break. We'll reverse it. Andrew, summer holidays. What comes to your mind when you think summer holidays? That's it. There you go, big guy.
While they're making their coffee, I will have some myself.
Make sure the timer is ready.
Yeah. So, what comes to mind when I think of summer holidays? First off, when I was probably 5, 6 years old, the ultimate summer holiday destination, Disneyland. Disneyland. Unfortunately, we don't have a Disneyland up here, but about an hour out of town, there was this place, Dinoland.
No, no.
Or something like that. It was.
Near the hole.
It's near home, yeah.
Toronto.
Huh? Never heard of it. Yeah. It was kind of hokey and kind of fun, but as a little kid, yeah, it was hey, brightly colored animal mascots, rides of some sort, and something like that. And you grow up as a teenager, water slides. I wasn't really that into girls, but the slides, those are fun. Only went to the water slides down in Dawson once. No, this is much older, teenage years. And after that, exciting vacations, wonderful. When I come to think of summer vacations, I would probably say something like sailing, boating, fishing now. Something peaceful, something not so exciting. Not going on a roller coaster and getting so excited my heart's gonna pop out and pop a vein and watch me splurt blood everywhere on other people. And so that's my thought on what I think about summer vacation. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Andrew.
So do you want to go next, or?
You've got the floor.
All right. Well, Fred.
That's it, we're going skydiving.
Okay, all right.
I'd like to try that one day.
So, yeah, definitely. So, far off into the future, what would summer vacations look like to you?
Alright, fellow Toastmasters and guests and friends. Summer vacation in the long distance future. It all depends, of course, on your life. Okay, so summer vacation in the long distant future. That's going to require a jetpack, a jet car, a jet boat, some jet skis, everything with jets, and we're going to be I don't know. Well, pretty much the way I kind of see it, depending on the evolvement of this world in the future, it could be just virtual vacation. It could be actually just sitting on your couch, putting on your goggles, and just go to the beach. Go to Wonderland. Go to Disneyland. Just virtually go into your place of choice. Or you could actually just kind of snap your fingers and just travel with it. Or do like the Star Trek kind of thing, get in that machine, make all kinds of sparkles.
The Holland, oh.
Transporter.
Sparkles, yeah, the transporter, and just appear on location with a whole lot of sparkles. Alright, I don't know. Thank you.
You gotta ask the next question.
Oh yeah.
Okay, pass it down.
I guess it's gonna make its way around.
Yeah, why not?
Train everyone
Alright,
to be a
Mr.
photographer.
Yeah.
Summer vacation, okay. What is your best desired vacation?
My best vacation.
What would you dream of? You know, your dream vacation, where would it be? Alright, good luck.
Hello, Toastmaster. Thank you. My desirable vacation. If I got lots of money, I would go on Amazon trip. I've always wanted to go there.
Where?
Amazon.
Amazon.
Amazon,
Okay.
yeah, it's south. It's mysterious. I'd like to go visit that one or Africa. Or go safari in Africa to visit nature. One of my desires. However, actually today I went shopping. I've got my sleeping bags. I've got fishing gears. I got mattresses and everything. I wash it, ready to go home. I'm trying to go for my summer because I'm not going to school this summer. I try to register. There's no classes, so I got a little bit of the equipment. 1 or 2 days a month or week, go out of town. Just go to the bushes or fishing on the summer lake. I miss it. I haven't done it for almost 3-4 years. I used to do camping every summer. I used to go off-road with the trucks. I haven't done it for almost 4 or 5 years, maybe more than that. We used to go towards Okanagan, Cache Creek, all those areas, my favorite. So I miss those things, because of due to my life situation, my lifestyle, and recovery and other things. I miss those things. That's why I think one of the depression I get because I don't have no outdoor, no nature. I need to feed my soul and my mind, my spirit and everything with the nature a little bit. So slowly I'm gonna head out a little bit, 1 or 2 days, come back again, go out again, do some voluntary work, go back again, come back to summer is over, go back to school. And that's one of my goals for this summer. Otherwise, my desire to go south. Thank you.
All right.
Now is your turn.
Pass it on.
Yeah, everyone learn to film a little bit. Is it already rolling? Yeah, it's rolling. You just have to point.
Point and shoot.
Yeah, point and shoot. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Hello, sir. Yes.
What is, okay. What's the best memory you have in summertime? When was it? Like, what do you remember?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Fellow Toastmaster, my most memorable summer holiday, I would say, will be one of those church retreat that we did about 30 years ago with Scott, Andy, when he was really young. And I was quite young too, I'm not that much older than Andy. And at that time, our church organized that, I think about once or twice a year. So we do some retreat. But I was a very busy college student, so I was only able to make it one time, actually, out of all those years. And that time, I remember Scott was there, Robin was there, you were there, and Teresa, everyone. And because I was just an international student studying here, so I don't have all those camping gear and stuff. So somehow the church managed to maybe borrow some from all the brothers and sisters. And we were in this campsite. Actually, I don't even remember the name of that campsite. But I remember there's a very beautiful lake, nice mountain, and that was the second year after I arrived in Vancouver, I think. And it was such a good memory that I felt,
wow, this type of mountain, this type of lakes, and it's freshwater lake, and then they let you swim in it, and let you set sail in it. In Asia, it's not inconceivable because water is supposed for drinking. Like you are not supposed to, you know, mess up the freshwater lake like that. But Canada, because of its abundant natural resources, somehow they have so many freshwater lakes, which they have maybe too much water that they couldn't, you know, use up or something. So I love swimming, so I just, you know, follow one of the brother, maybe not Scott, but another brother, I forgot his name. So he has this little sailboat, they call it dinghy or something in here. Yeah. And set sail, and then he was controlling it, and then we were going out, and then the boat was kind of like going this way and with the wind. I still remember I was quite scared because he was quite amateur, right? When he was controlling the boat, and then when he turned, and then the whole thing flip, and then the sail go to the other side. It was quite an experience. But I actually love the water, so I actually jumped off from that sail and then go into the water. The water was freezing cold. I didn't really expect that because it was so warm outside, and then I touch it, seems to be okay, and then I jump into it. Oh my God, that was so cold. Compared to the water in Hong Kong, it's quite different because over there it's tropical, right? I jump and then I come back up right away. And then the brother was saying, oh, how come you don't swim longer? I said, yes, I want to, but it's quite cold, right? And also, when I was into the water, another amazing thing is, I have my goggles, right? When I look, big fish. At that time, I didn't know what type of fish. Now I know it's salmon. Big salmon swimming, you know, under us and stuff like that. And then I said, if it's in Asia, all the fish are gone. Because people will just overfarm, you know. They will just catch everything. But somehow in here, there's still so many fish underneath us, and no one catch it. So that's another amazing journey or summer holiday that always embedded in my mind. And I only have one picture from that trip, but if you still have some picture, I would like to borrow some. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, Lori.
That
pass it on to Scott.
Yeah,
I the glacier lakes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I need to ask God exactly where is that lake because I was too new to town, so I was just focusing in enjoying. So I forgot about to ask the name of that lake. Hello, Lori. So, what is your again most favorable summer vacation experience that you recall?
Go, it's the vacations flashing through my mind. Oh no! See, my favorite vacation, well, you know what? Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, I'm just going to have to speak about my youth days when we used to go to Cultus Lake, because I can't really remember a particular time, but I can just remember so many good times of camping on Cultus Lake. Me and my family and my mom's sister, her family, my cousins, where we used to always go there and meet every summer. And we, my oldest cousin, George, he used to always rent a ski boat. So he'd always take us out, and I never water skied myself, and I never tried to because as a young youth, I was scared to try new things, right? So I never tried that, but I tried on a rubber tube. I believe I drove it on a rubber tube, and we went out behind the boat, and that was a lot of fun there. Yeah. And I really enjoyed making bows and arrows and pretending to be hunters out there because we were quite young then. And motorbikes, we used to go motorbike riding. I remember my cousin had a little Honda 50 motorbike. I never ever got to have my own motorbike going out camping when I was a little boy, and I always had a resentment about that one. But lucky for me, my cousins, their dad always bought them motorbikes, so I was able to ride their motorbikes, right? And that made camping a really, really joyful time. And yeah, I remember times seeing a bear when we were just kids, right? We're walking down this trail, and there really wasn't a bear there this time, but my friend goes, looks back and he's, it's a bear, and then he starts to run, and I just instinctively started running too, passed him right by, and all of a sudden I hear this laughing behind me. I turn around and I look back and he's going laughing at me because I ran for nothing. That made camping really fun. I used to go hunting with my dad. He used to take me out when I was just a little boy, bow hunting at night. And he used to get me to hold the flashlight on their eyes. And then all of a sudden he'd disappear, and I'm just like 5 or 6 year old little boy in the middle of the bush with a flashlight on his deer going, Dad, where are you? But he's off circling around to get a shot at the deer, right? And I didn't know, but yeah, I had some really wonderful times with that. We traveled all over BC. We went to, what's that place called? They do a lot of gold mining there. Barkerville, yes, thank you. We went to Barkerville there, and remember they had all these old shelves with all these little core samples from drilling for gold. And I never seen that before in my life, and I remember sitting there looking at it all, trying to find one with, thinking maybe there'd be gold in it, and I was going to sneak it and take it home with me and get rich. And yeah, so there was things like that that I did that I really enjoyed in my years of camping and that. Then there's a time when me and my friends, when we were about 16, 17 years old, when we went out and stole the pickup truck, being young kids, foolish kids, right? Following each other's lead. So we went out, and then on the way out camping, we stopped and we stole the canoe to go camping. So we go out camping and we're in this stolen canoe paddling around in this lake and that. And then we decided to go home, and we pulled the canoe up and we went home, and that was one of my last camping trips. And yeah, that was the end of my camping career up to date. Thank you, Toastmasters.
Let me ask Scott.
Here you go.
Scott.
And the camera goes back to you. No.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you like it.
First question. It's on summer holidays?
Summer holidays. Worst summer holidays. I haven't heard about that.
Yeah.
How has your summer holidays with your kids been so far?
Good question.
Summer holidays with the kids, thank you, Lloyd, fellow Toastmasters. I'm
Yeah,
Scott.
well,
Summer
sure.
holidays with the kids have been, they've been okay. We haven't really done a whole lot with our kids so much because my wife and I, sometimes we're getting along, sometimes we're not getting along. But the kids are having the time of their lives, which is the most important thing. And we used to live in the Caribbean. We lived there for quite some time, and we would have some fun times there going out to the beach. And here I've taken the kids out to different water parks. There's some great water parks out at the parks, the local parks here, down by the Vancouver Parks Board. And the parks have kind of changed over the years from when I was a kid growing up, and it was just a concrete pit in the middle of the park, and they filled it up with cold water, and it was cold. But now they give you more of a light sprinkle there, that kind of umbrella, and the kids are having the time of their lives. I'm trying to get them down to the False Creek Water Park down there by Kids Market, which I used to have the funnest time going there myself. They used to have these old water cannons there, and you just have to bump a kid off in order to get control of that water cannon. But now it's more child friendly. They don't want kids bullying other kids for the water cannon, so they've eliminated the water cannon altogether. My plans this summer are to take the kids on different hikes. We were able to go out on Father's Day. We went to Deer Lake and we went canoeing, which was a lot of fun. My wife, myself, and my two little girls, and they just had the time of their life. We can do simple things and they're happy just being out doing it. we went the other day, fed the ducks, and they were happy doing that. So I'm looking forward to doing things like that with the kids here in Vancouver. I would also like, when my little girl is 13, 14, to send her off to summer camp. My parents would send me off to a few different summer camps, and they were a lot of fun. Went to a logging camp out there called Evans Lake, and a nice camp called Camp Latona, and I'd like them to have the same experience. Thank you very much.
You're the chair.
Okay, so anyways, thank you everybody for coming.
No. Okay.
We're on a very tight schedule here. Okay, now I will have the timer come off. Everybody is going to tell us how we all did. Thank you, Sean. Thank you very much.
Toastmaster, everybody had a very nice topic. Very interesting topic. That's why everybody was a little bit over. Sometimes, especially when I just lost the time. I'm saying, look, I'm over like a minute. So everybody has very interesting conversation, speech, and everybody between 30 seconds to minutes over. The rest it was okay. That's because it was a very interesting topic, and everybody has something to say, and that make it interesting. Thank you.
Lucky there's no penalty for over.
No, because everybody has added to it.
And the
Grammarian report. All right, so I'll counter. I actually didn't count any O's. I'm not even counting that one right now. So anybody who is focused on O's or ums or whatnot, I didn't really notice that much. Anyways, all right, so onto the grammarian report. I got one vicious out of the whole evening.
Oh yeah, before that one.
God.
Vicious.
That's the vicious thing you ever done to us.
There you go.
The sun was viciously beating down.
I used it in the wrong place.
Yeah, Fred used it, but it was out of context. So, so grammarian report. So first, I'll start with Ben. Ben used a lot of high-level words because of his high-level speech, talking about the legacy of leadership, which is a very interesting onomatopoeia, which is using two letters, using the L in consecutive words. So, leadership, legacy, international impact, and closed communist society. They're all very effective phrases and words.
Academic.
Yeah, and there's the economic impact, because they sound similar. And I think a lot of times with these phrasing and words, if they start with a similar syllable, economic impact, closed communist society, there's all C words, international impact. It gives a certain feeling to the words, and so I like that. Fred started his speech with a rhyme, which was very interesting. But then he noted it, so minus points there. And he used a lot of very technical words in his speech, except for sloppy mess, which was very, very graphic and very, very telling of what he wanted to do. And his texture, visual arts were very good. I would have liked to explain maybe more of one or two of them, but that's good that you went through all your projects and whatnot. So negative space, fundamentals, proportions, pro bono, and then you went into vicious after doctor pro bono.
Fish is kind of weird.
Yes. And then Lloyd. Lloyd had a lot of values in his speech. Values such as humility, sobriety, kindness. And I didn't record all of them, there are too many. And then he went through, it's like, I got dot, yeah.
$50 word right there, Lloyd.
Yeah, $50 word.
Yeah.
Cashing on it afterwards.
Yeah.
So and you went through respect and integrity,
Yeah.
and you gave a description of what respect looks like, which is, I want what that man has, and that really stuck with me. And then Ben did this too. Ben had a lot of interesting hand gestures that pointed made his point all the more effective. And when Lloyd did that with the little girl thing and looking up at you and looking into the lights and being blinded by the fluorescent light, it was very effective on that. And then you went into my true self, the truth of who I am, and tough guy, hanging out with the wrong crowd. So, all very good words and phrases and whatnot that I liked. So, very good.
Good job.
Good job, everybody.
Good job. Thank you very much.